Hello and welcome to my channel where I share everything you need to know to design your life. In this video, I wanted to talk with you about seller market versus buyer market, plus several key point considerations you may not have heard of. Seller market versus buyer market is a very common concept, but it's also commonly misunderstood as far as what it actually means to the buyer or seller when it is their market to shine. Seller's market versus buyer's market is driven by supply and demand. When there is an excess of properties and a shortage of buyers, this is a buyer's market, and prices decrease during this market trend. When there is an excess of buyers and a shortage of properties, this is a seller's market. Prices increase during this market trend. So what exactly happens during each of these market models? In case you are new here, my name is Clarice Smith and I am an interior designer and eXp realtor, and my passion is empowering you to design your life. I share design and real estate content, giving you the inside knowledge to create great spaces for the life you want to experience. Whether you are living in a temporary space, selling and moving on, or creating your forever home, the content you find here is relevant for you. If you think of each market as kind of a shift in power, you could think of seller's market is when the power rests with the seller. And sellers typically during this market trend will ask higher prices. Property values go up, and buyers pay higher prices for the same property that they would have paid less for had it been a neutral market or a buyer's market. And in a buyer's market, the power rests with the buyer. Then property values decrease, and then the seller sells for less. Whichever market it is, that particular person, be it buyer or seller, has more powers typically in these areas: negotiation, timeline, terms, asking for incentives, and then of course price. Buyer and seller markets are cyclical and in response to the economy and also real estate demand and supply. Although we are familiar with these markets waning and waxing, they are two very distinct markets, and it is beneficial to try to understand them. Regardless of which market it is not a time for buyers and sellers to sit back and coast through the process to see what happens. Now, we know what a seller's market and a buyer's market is, but what does it mean to the buyer and to the seller? What do you actually do in your distinct market? It would mean so much to me if you would subscribe and become part of our community of powerful people and help us to reach more people, empowering them to design their life. When it is a seller's market, inventory goes down, resulting in fewer days on the market, and market prices go up. A few of the things that might happen during a seller's market are: a seller may list at higher prices. The property may sell quickly. The seller may expect multiple offers or even competitive bidding. Sellers may actually sell their property at higher than list price. The seller may refuse offers that have contingencies that would normally be acceptable during a neutral or buyer's market. The seller may be less flexible on closing and occupancy dates. And the seller may expect to pay more for their new home if it's during the same market period. And some sellers can expect to sell less desirable properties for higher prices during a seller's market. How does a seller's market affect a buyer in a seller's market? The inventory goes down, so the buyer may pay higher prices. The buyer may be required to submit a larger earnest money deposit. The buyer may expect to pay full or more than the list price. But keep in mind, the property still needs to appraise. The buyer may make more favorable offers with little or no contingencies, and possibly with waiving inspections that they normally would not waive during a neutral or buyer's market. Buyers may need to be more flexible on closing and occupancy dates. Buyers may expect fewer seller incentives, and the buyer is less likely to find deals. So what can we expect in a buyer's market? Remember, during a buyer's market, there is a surplus of inventory and fewer qualified buyers, and therefore the property value goes down. A buyer in a buyer's market can expect buyers may be able to negotiate lower sales prices. Buyers may be less flexible on closing and occupancy dates. Buyers may ask for more seller incentives. Buyers may negotiate more with the terms with sellers. And then buyers may also find quite a few good deals during a buyer's market. Seller in a buyer's market. Sellers may expect fewer and lower offers. Sellers may have to make more favorable counter offers, giving more buyer incentives. The seller may expect offers with contingencies. Sellers may be expected to be more flexible with closing and occupancy dates. Sellers may expect properties to sell slower and therefore be more considerate of offers that do come in. What you may not have heard. Regardless if it is a buyer's market or a seller's market, buyers and sellers should do these things. Sellers, this is no time to take it easy. If you do, you could be leaving money on the table. Have your property market ready. Have realistic expectations and move with confidence, but move quickly. Sellers in a buyer's market. In a buyer's market, you are competing with other sellers for the buyers to want your property. Staging your property will show the advantage of that buyer choosing your property. And sellers in a seller's market, you can maximize your position by making your property desirable to an already demanding buyer pool. This may result in you attracting the most qualified buyers and achieving the highest multiple offer. What can you do in any market? Sellers may benefit by being realistic and not get greedy and lose a sale. Because remember, your property has to appraise. Sellers may benefit by having their property in top-notch condition and market ready to attract the most qualified buyers. Sellers may benefit by staging their property and having all necessary repairs done. This way, you are presenting your property as a quality product in the marketplace. And sellers may benefit by having an interim just-in-case plan in case there is a gap in occupancy. Sellers need to be wary of any too good to be true purchase offers. And then, of course, buyers. There is no time to take it easy. If you do, it could cost you more. Have your finances in order and have realistic expectations. Move confidently and quickly. Buyers in a buyer's market, you are in a position to negotiate a price that may benefit you. You can maximize your appeal to the seller by having a pre-approval letter in hand at the time of offer. This may benefit you because it will work in tandem with the fact that there is less competition of qualified buyers or buyers who do not have this financial commitment. This could also result in your offer being selected over someone else's, even if it's not necessarily the highest offer. Buyers, what can you do in any market? Buyers may benefit by having a pre-approval letter at time of offer to maximize their position. Buyers may benefit by not applying for credit cards, new loans, co-signing on loans, or making any large purchases on credit or in cash. Buyers may benefit by establishing a budget prior to shopping so that you know what your budget is, and this may help to resist getting swept up in the excitement of the buying trend. Buyers may need to reevaluate their wish list and edit it to the essentials, and then anything that you find over that, consider it a plus. Buyers may need to expand their ideal location to purchase, and this will open up more opportunities and more options. Buyers should expect that properties that they're interested in will sell quickly and should be ready and move quickly as well. And then, of course, buyers need to be wary of any too good to be true opportunities to purchase. Whether it is a seller's market or a buyer's market, there is no past to be passive in the process of real estate. You want to strengthen your position. You want to be proactive and navigate the real estate market for the best outcome for you, and not just let the market happen to you and be in control of your final real estate experience. Regardless of who has the power, real estate is always a competition. Sellers, you are always competing for the qualified buyers and the maximum market value for your property. Buyers, you are always competing to have your offer accepted and for the very best price on your chosen property. Sellers and buyers are always competing with one another to close the real estate transaction on their terms as best as they can. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. If you found this video helpful, here is another one and also a related playlist that you may find helpful. Thank you for spending time with me, and I will see you in the next one.